Hey, what's up? Welcome again for another episode of HR Shouts and Whispers. We are now at episode number 56. And our topic for tonight is lifelong learning and building career resiliency. Siyempre, my name is Ken Somera and ang main host natin, Cristina Reclamado. Hi, Chris.
Yes, I can. Okay, so and to everyone who's watching. Okay, so it's a rainy Saturday evening. But okay, we're going to have a good discussion this evening as we promised because we have they're known to be leaders in the field of HR. And I won't I won't go beat around the bush, okay? So I'll go straight ahead to our guest. Okay, so our first guest, okay, so he is the CEO and Managing Director of Circa Logica, okay, and he's a seasoned HR, okay, leader, consultant, and resource speaker. So his expertise actually is the gamut of HR functions, okay. So without further ado, okay, let me welcome Mr. Mikel Lerol Balansag. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Ken. Hi, everyone. It's nice to be here.
Yes. And I'll also introduce this other expert. Okay. So he was with me this September. Okay. With the HR Skills Clinic 2020. Okay. So he is a multi awarded HR practitioner. Okay. So he is a certified total reward specialist from the ASEAN Institute of Total Rewards and a certified HR professional from International Federation of Professional Managers. Okay, so he garnered a lot of awards internationally. Okay, so he was awarded the HR Leadership Award from Bangalore, India, Institute of Public Enterprise and Ascent NGO for promoting a harmonious industrial relation system. And also, okay, he also had the award 100 Global HR Minds from Mumbai, India, okay, by Times Ascent Incorporated. So Mr. Oliver Chan Requilman. Hi, Oliver.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, so we have an interesting discussion. Okay, but first off, okay, so this ECQ GCQ period. Okay, so a lot of people went online, and so did a lot of coaches, and so there's a sea of webinars here, and people took advantage of the lull by upskilling themselves. Okay, so I'll ask Michael. So with you, what's your experience during this period with the C, CPHR and CLDP?
Thanks, Chris. And that's true, no, Chris. During this period, the COVID period, I think that's also a smart move, not just for HR practitioners, but to everyone, to all professionals, to invest in themselves, take time to equip themselves with trainings, with additional skills, and that includes CPHR or CLDP. So CPHR is, well, it's the Chartered Professionals in Human Resources. It's the globally accepted certification for HR leaders and people managers. It actually represents more than 47,000 members in the HR field across the globe. So while CLDP, or the Certified Learning and Development Professional, which is just starting this October in the Philippines, is also an internationally accredited certification, but this one enhances the L&D competencies, which would be highly useful in corporate training, in OD, in performance management, or succession planning.
Oh, so
Chris.
yes, if they would want to take advantage of those, they can just contact Circa Logica. Okay, but here
Right.
it is the million-dollar question. Okay, so the two of you, okay, you're known in your categories, okay, or industries as seasoned leaders. Okay, so but in the first place, did you set out to be in HR originally?
I think Michael will be the best person to go first because it's totally opposite, right? Malayo-layo talaga ng goal.
Ano bang ano? What was your original career, Michael?
Well, I have a degree in business kasi nung unang panahon, no, I won't mention when, pero wala pa talagang HR course, unlike ngayon, di ba? Talagang meron ng major in HR, meron ng masters in HR. So I am graduate of a business course, and I've started with a bank. It's a US bank with operations in the Philippines in BGC. So part ng operations, ng credit card operations actually. And then medyo Bibo. So was appointed to be in employee engagement for the department, and then moved to a BPO in Pampanga, my hometown. Part of operations still. And then sabi nila, oh, okay, we need someone as HR manager, and we wanted someone with strong background in employee engagement talaga. So I was like, okay, HR. So wala silang masyadong ginagawa, doon na lang ako sa HR. That's the notion pag HR eh. Nakaupo lang, office. So, sige, HR tayo. When I joined HR, doon ko talaga nakita ang lahat ng challenges, and that's also where I've experienced yung kakaibang level of fulfillment. Now, to equip myself, I've invested as well in certifications, in a lot of training, in joining networks, and learning best practices from experienced HR practitioners. So hanggang sa nagtuloy-tuloy na, and I came to love HR, and then nag-grow, joined the aviation industry as HR, and finally joined an HR company. So talagang HR, and I see myself doing this forever, Chris. So
Yeah, it's something that
not
it's
really
age friendly. Natawa si
nagiging age
Oliver.
friendly, tama. Tama. Well, initially talaga hindi, and I think marami makaka-relate. Most wala talaga akong data, but I'd say maybe 80% of HR practitioners didn't really started out as HR themselves and just learn to love the calling, no, the vocation. It's not really a job, it's not really a career, talagang vocation na siya. That's my story, Chris. Oliver.
Well, interesting story. Okay, si Oliver.
Well, ako
Oliver.
naman kasi, sorry. Ako naman, I'm a psychology graduate. So, I think I was on my fourth year. Yes, I was already on my fourth year when I realized that HR was not for me at that time. That's what I thought. Maybe HR is not really for me. And luckily, I think one of the reasons because we had a subject in social psychology that we heavily discussed on consumer psychology as a topic under the subject of social psychology. And I saw how Filipino psychology and social psychology are intertwined together. So the interest was already there. But in terms of marketing, applying consumer behavior in marketing. So doon pa lang gusto ko na talaga sa sales and marketing eh. And plus nag-OJT ako sa isang one of the few BPO companies that started out in the market. So XML Innodata, and this happened in Cebu. And I was placed in wala pa kasing HRMS nung dati, HRIS eh. So I was placed
Manual.
Grabe yung kwarto, dalawa lang kayo doon, tapos punong-puno ng mga filing cabinet from floor to ceiling.
Parang inapik ka, Oliver.
Oo nga. So parang doon ako nalagay, tapos may window na maliit, yung parang sa bangko. Bank terminal maliit, doon mo lang papasok yung SSS mo, tapos tatatakan, tapos yun na. And then file mo na kagad sa mga folders, sa mga 201 files. So it wasn't a good experience. And then it was a very good experience at that time, I would say. Even up to now, I'd say it was a good experience kasi yung recruitment nung panahon na yun, that was really pen and paper eh. That was really pen and paper. You know what I'll do? I'd call applicants in the morning, tapos schedule ko sila sa afternoon, and then bago ko umuwi ng gabi, mga 6 to 8 p.m., magbabasa pa ako ng CV kung sino yung mga tatawagan ko the following day. So from 8 to 10, magtatawag ako ng mga aplikante. Then 10 to lunchtime, over lunch, babasahin ko yung mga CVs. Then by 1 o'clock, 1 to 5, mag-administer ako ng exam. And then I realized na parang ano no, nakakapagod yung mag-check ka ng mga papel. So bumutas ako ng photocopy ako sa cardboard, cartolina, binutasan ko ngayon. So tinek ko na lang ng it was a good experience. So looking back at it even up to now, I'd say it was a good experience. But my what do you call this? My turning point from sales and marketing happened in 2004. That was after my MBA, and it was a job that was offered to me because the manufacturing firm that I was hired for, and the position that I was hired for to begin with did not materialize. It was at that time kasi na 2004, almost all furniture companies in the Philippines, local companies, wanted to be the next Didon. If you're familiar with Didon,
Yes.
Didon kasi is a
The
Philippine
shoes.
brand. Oh no, they're not. They're furnitures. Oh,
Okay.
Didon is a furniture brand and a furnishing brand.
I was thinking
So
of Ledon shoes, the one in SM.
this one is Dedon, no? So it's
That one. Okay.
Dedon. Ano siya? It's a Filipino company. It's a Philippine-based company. It just so happened that the couple Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, they were interviewed by Oprah Winfrey, and then they featured that furniture brand. So everybody in the Philippines wanted to be the next Ethan Allen and to be the next Didon. So from there, it did not materialize. So I immediately shifted to human resources. It was a stroke of luck. It was a blessing because I fell in love with it. I thought that HR is limited within the four corners of your office, so you have nothing to do but to stamp papers. Maybe before it was like that, but technology is very helpful, was and is very helpful in changing the landscape of HR profession. So ngayon, it's now interesting. I never saw myself speaking in front of a large crowd when I was in college. I never saw myself handling MBA programs in a local university, and my idea of myself was totally different at that time. Even up to now, my opinion about myself is kind of different from the reality that I'm in. So
Kasi
that was the journey.
that's the journey of, each one has a unique journey. Okay. And then a lot of people actually have been sending private messages to me. Okay. So in this period, okay, because there are people from marketing, so they feel that they want to shift to HR. Okay. So they've been getting a lot of work from inside their company. They've been volunteering. Okay.
Yeah.
So can I ask you, okay, so if people wanted to shift, is HR for everyone?
Well, I guess if you're going to ask me now, I guess it is for everyone. For those coming from marketing, especially advertising, you can transition in human resources through recruitment and employer branding. I'm sure Mikel has experience in the past because he came from advertising. Back in 2004, 2005, I think, that was a year later after human resources, then came Convergys in Cebu. And the requirement for a recruitment manager at that time was somebody coming from marketing, somebody coming from advertising. And I think that still holds true up to now, that kind of requirement, because when you're in recruitment, may it be traditional or a modern approach in recruitment, it requires ton of creativity, just like an employee engagement. I mean, you cannot repeat and replay what you have done last year.
Mm-hmm.
In
Of
recruitment,
course.
thing you
Yeah,
have.
people will be just like, oh, ito na naman. Oh, wala na
Yes,
bang
oh.
maisip ang HR?
So recruitment requires somebody with that kind of skill, that kind of talent. So if you're coming from marketing, if you're coming from advertising, I think you can transition immediately through recruitment. If not recruitment, then employee engagement, just like what Mikel did. Yeah.
I agree, no? I agree with Oliver. Not really for everyone automatically. Sometimes the reason for high turnover kasi is that many HR managers don't have the background in HR. And yung reason kung bakit nagiging ganito is because since HR managers don't have background in HR kasi, they feel na may common misconception that na anybody can do HR. Na okay, I need an HR manager, so itong isang manager ko na walang ginagawa, I'll put him or her into HR. Pero nagkakaroon ng problems in the long run kasi as an HR manager, you are the face of the company, especially to new employees. So if a new employee, say, gets onboarded, he or she gets to meet you, the HR manager, before the rest. And if the HR manager is not well equipped, pangit yung onboarding, pangit lahat ng proseso from the recruitment side, then the retention of the employee is not guaranteed. Similar din to what Oliver has mentioned as well, talent acquisition. Talent acquisition is something far beyond just recruiting and adding people to your organization. Ang daming kailangang maintindihan to become a really good strategist in terms of talent acquisition kasi and they need to understand the cost of a bad hire. So to answer, maybe not for everyone automatically, but as long as they continuously equip themselves, especially yung mga bagong moves sa HR with no prior background in sales or no background at all, that's related to HR, maybe just continuously equip yourselves, have a support system, maybe join HR networks like HR Shouts and Whispers, attend trainings, attend certifications, and most importantly, find a really good mentor. And sigurado, it will take some time, but definitely darating at darating doon. Just like, and I'm talking from experience.
Well, I remember yeah. Okay, Oliver.
Sorry. I just want to add to what Mikel said. Well, there are actually two driving forces for you to transition or for anybody to transition to human resources. One is opportunity. If opportunity is present.
Mm-hmm.
If opportunity is present, that's your driving force. I mean, napipilitan ka, di ba? Kasi binigay na sa yung trabaho. Well, second, what will make you successful, however, in that opportunity is your interest. Kung yung ba talaga yung gusto mo. Kasi kung gusto mo yan, magiging creative ka in finding ways to do better. Yung pagiging yung tinatawag nating all-in-one na HR manager, meaning trainer, OD, tapos talent acquisition,
recruiter, payroll, lahat na.
Labor relations, there's mga may administrative work kasi kasama rin yan sa sinabi nga ni David Ulrich, you cannot let go of the administrative side of HR. You still have to be an admin expert at some point. No? So if the interest is there, you will learn immediately. I mean, not immediately, but you will transition effectively. It will be easier for you. Yun nga lang, tama rin si Mikel, sinabi niya kanina, pagdating sa what do you call this, pagdating sa churning, no, yung mga nag-aalisan na ng mga empleyado, it's because of HR, they weren't properly onboarded. Walang may onboard nung tulad nung dati. I'm sure Cristina,
dati,
this.
Ako,
dati
naranasan
ko.
ko.
Envelope may folder lang. Basahin mo na yan. Now it's different
Well, HR has come a long way, lalo na yung recruitment. Kasi yung panahon ko, well, it was 1995, okay? That was my first job. Parang walang training I came in, my first job was a TV writer, okay? Pagpasok, well, wala rin kaming job, wala kaming employment contract. Okay. Okay, basta first day mo, ito yung first day mo. Tapos pagdating mo sa first day, yung orientation mo lang, well, ganito nangyari kasi, I came in at, I think it was October 30 was my first day. It was a Thursday. I remember that. Kasi the next day was my father's birthday. Tapos sinabi lang, ito ang orientation mo sa pantry, etc. Okay. Ito yung microwave, ito yung CR, ito yung desk mo. Okay. Yun lang yung orientation namin nun.
Ikaw nang bahala.
Bahala ka, wag sulat ka. Kasi TV writer ka.
Walang folder na binigay sa iyo.
Wala.
So
Basta,
yung experience ko pala may first letter pala. Binigyan lang ako ng folder. O lahat parang sa iyo rin mga siguro after a month. Kasi naka LBC pa, notarized pirma, tas padala ulit. That was a good experience. So, I mean, looking back.
well, that's why
So,
sabi nila yung Gen X hardened people.
one of the interests, hardened. I think, but if you come to think of it, one of the good things that came out of that experience, yung time na yun, because the lack of technology, if you remember, I mean, email wasn't much of a thing.
Correct.
Website wasn't even a thing of the companies back then. It taught us how to be resilient. It taught us how to be ready and prepared all the time. I remember, I'm sure you guys also did. Yung CV ko that time, isang print lang yung original, yung master copy. Kasi mahal ang printing nun, 25 pesos eh. Pag black and white, pag colored, nasa 50 pesos. So ginawa ko, photocopy ko lahat nakariso.
Colored photocopy, social pa yun.
Nako, mabuti po si Oliver mabuti si Oliver naka-CV na, naka-biodata lang ako noon.
Nakala ko rin, nag-biodata rin ako. Yung binibili sa National Bookstore. O, fill upan mo, nag-biodata rin ako noon. Kaso nga lang, yung sa printer kasi, mahal talaga nung dati pag nag-print ka ng
Oo.
And yung, I think, breakfast Jollibee ng pancake that time was 25 pesos o 20 pesos. Yung isang print ng CV mo, 25.
Mahal yun.
Kakain ba ako? Magpiprint na lang.
Okay, so you mentioned resiliency, okay, and one of the reasons sinasabi, okay, it's an opinion, okay, so not necessarily we agree to it, what we caught on this opinion, okay, because before we were not so dependent on technology. That's why siguro yung generation X, okay, is hardened, okay, so the younger generation, because they're very dependent on technology, parang naging it softened them. Okay, so what can you do you agree, disagree, or can you offer an explanation on bakit may difference in behavior sa younger generation?
Mikel, do you want me to go first? O kasi putol-putol yata si Mikel.
Yes. Go ahead, Oliver.
Nag-freeze yung frame mo. So, this is what I have observed. First, the millennials, the millennial managers, when they were raised, they were given already an option at age 5, age 7, up to age 10. Pag dinadala sila ng parents nila, tayo, the Gen X parents, when we were growing up, we never had that kind of opportunity. Di ba? Kaya pagdating sa mga millennials, mga anak natin, pagdating natin sa fast food, they were given that opportunity to choose. Nagkaroon kagad sila ng liberty at an early age. Tayo wala eh. Nung panahon natin, kung anong nasa lapag ng lamesa, yung kakainin mo. Pag di mo kinain yan, mamimili ka, sinturon o tsinelas. I mean, generally speaking, that's how we were raised as Gen X. Kaya, yung yung psychology natin, in the back of our minds while we were growing up, is that we follow whatever is given to us. No? Uwi ka ng alas 5. Bago ka, pag malilate ka, tatawag ka. Pag wala kang pambayad, itong 75 pesos. 75 centavos. Diba, 3.5, matatawag ka dun sa pulang telepono. So, it was the kind of life that we have had then. Ngayon kasi the millennials, when they were raised, they were given that liberty at a very early age. And growing up, thinking that they hold the same privilege. They hold the same privilege. Tapos, sa kasama pa niyan, kasi tayo nung pinalaki tayo, busog tayo sa palo eh. So yung mga anak natin na the young millennials, the young managers, nung they were growing up, pag nagrereklamo sila sa parents nila, sinusugod natin si teacher. Yan, di ba? Ako mismo, I felt guilty at one time, then I decided I'll never do that again to my kids. I will never talk to their teachers and ask why this and why that. No, let the teachers do their business. So that's how they were raised. And they hold onto that concept of privilege from the moment they came into consciousness of their environment up to the point that they are working. Nakakatawa nito, if I may share, just to add substance. When I was working in a beverage company, we were in Bacolod. Sinugod kami ng isang parent kasi yung anak daw niya na napakaganda, ginawa naming tricycle driver. Ginawa namin ginawang tricycle driver. It was the tool of the trade. Oh, tool of the trade. Papasok siya sa planta, naka-Honda Accord. Biruin mo, naka-Honda Accord na 2000 something. Bababa siya, meeting sandali, kick off ng sales daily yun eh. Tapos sasakay na siya sa tricycle niya ngayon. Yung tricycle hindi automatic, kick arm. Sisipain pa niya, maliit na babae. Maputi hanggang sa umitim na siya. So nagalit yung parents. And can you imagine raising your kids that way, and you as a parent, nandun ka pa rin kahit nagtatrabaho na. Ikaw yung susugod sa HR niya, magsasabi na dito, bakit ganito, bakit gano'n. Kaya the new parents now, especially the ones with kids like my kids, same age like my kids, I discourage them from being there all the time. Recently nga may nag-circulate na umiiyak na bata sa Manila Bulletin, di ba? Na picturean, umiiyak kasi hindi niya kinaya yung requirements online.
Yes.
Oh, biruin mo yun, requirements online lang yan eh. I mean, hindi ka pa nga nakakakita ng and the poor kid was only I think 6 or 7 based on the photo that I saw. But the point is, everybody right now in the Philippines is making a big fuss out of it. I think we should stop, especially us in HR. I think we should discourage putting so much attention to that kind of kasi magiging a culture. We're going to create a culture of privilege. All the more magbabago. Kaya yung managers natin ngayon, mga young workforce natin ngayon, pag di mo nabigyan ng cellphone, they expect that it's no longer tool of the trade, but it's automatic. It's part of my working table. Magre-resign because yung plan ng cellphone nila mababa kaysa sa plan ng manager. Reason nila kasi mas maganda yung phone. Mabuti sana kung sasabihin na, sir, we need higher plan because we can be more productive. Kaso hindi eh, yung free na phone kasi iPhone 7, ito sa kanya Samsung A something lang. Parang yung para bang ganun. So this is now what's going on and what's happening with the kind of workforce that we have. If we could only move back, and keep some old practices. And if I may also add to this, there is prominence in the old. Hindi po lahat ng bago maganda. Likewise, hindi po lahat ng maganda bago. Some of the old are still relevant to be used up to now. There is always prominence in the old. We just have to look for it. And there's always wisdom in the past, di ba? So those wisdom, sana matuto tayo. And this is something that we can already start and begin with. I hope I was able to answer your question, Cristina.
Actually, I heard Oliver in the HR Skills Clinic, okay, and sabi ko, Gen X to kasi aligned yung aming perspective. Kasi narinig ko, Gen X to. Okay. Okay. Okay, how about si Mikel?
For the benefit of the other generation, I'd say na talaga and I agree. There was a point, I think sometime early last year or 2 years ago, na ang hot topic talaga is managing millennials in the workplace. Nagkaroon talaga ng isang time na yun talaga ang hot topic ngayon.
Yes.
Kasi resiliency and agility na ang hot topic And I agree to what Oliver had mentioned kasi sometimes it's also because of the availability of resources din. Ang dami kasing options din ngayon. Ang bilis lumipat, ang daming pagpipilian. So lumaki yung mga bago nating professionals having that kind of mindset na okay, meron akong hindi gusto dito and in-offer to ng kabila. So lilipat ako, parang ganun. Kaya in a way nagiging privileged din as opposed sa older generations. So talagang limited talaga ang options. Hindi madaling lumipat ng trabaho. Kailangan mo ng classified ads ng linggo. Maghahanap ka talaga ng trabaho out of the newspaper and pupuntahan mo isa-isa. Wala nang ganun ngayon Ngayon, punta ka
Oo,
sa
yung
job.
sa Okay, kasi I remember that. Okay, you have to go through. Wala pang hindi pa ganun ka systematic or sophisticated
Correct.
yung ano.
Or ano talaga to, radio, print media ang option. So kapag ka natanggap ka doon without them having to even ask you kung ano ang expected salary mo kasi your ultimate goal is to get a job,
Get a
'di
job.
ba?
Yes,
Kapag ka
kagad.
kapag natanggap ka doon, you'll value the job kasi mahirap maghanap. As opposed sa ngayon, in a way siguro kasalanan din ng technology. May pros and cons siguro. Ngayon kasi, login ka lang sa isang job portal, lagay mo yung mga preferences mo, location, salary, and all. Lalabas na lahat, pili ka na lang. And pati din tayo, in a way, nag-evolve din tayo as HR practitioners. We introduced diversity, inclusion in the workplace. We introduced a lot of things. Kailangan natin makisabay We asked their compensation. If we have multiple sites, we wanted to ensure na malapit sa kanila. So, and we do this kasi kailangan natin makisabay. Otherwise, we'll lose in the competition of getting really good talents. So, ang kagandahan naman ng technology is, especially for us, HR practitioners na nagiging cost center ng organization because meron ng mga tools na available, mas nagiging strategic tayo. We have an applicant tracking system, we have a performance management system, we have an HRIS, ang dami. Anything and everything na kailangan mo, an email blaster, a text blaster, lahat. And even online meetings. So, yun naman yung kagandahan. Pero yun, may pros and cons nga. Ito. And because of that, nakaka-affect sa generation. So, imagine the next generation, itong mga millennials, pag sila na ang nasa edad natin and yung bago nang papasok, mga pinanganak ng mga 2020, 30, baka kapag nakaabot ka ng regularization achievement na yun. So, and we need to continuously evolve. Kailangan talaga din nating mag-provide and adjust. So, and find ways on how to keep them.
But if I may also add to what I said earlier, kasi if you look, ayun na yung kasi ito, sinasabi natin ito perspective ng from the lens of HR person Pero when you talk about resiliency at the perspective naman of an employee, how are they going to maintain the career that they have already started? And how are they going to push it forward for them to be successful? Kasi ngayon, yung mga kabataan, pag so let's say, I think less than 2 years lang yata, they expect to be promoted as managers immediately without thinking that, again, going back to the privilege, the concept of privilege, without thinking that, or considering first that they have to improve their capability and they have to add more to themselves before they can be considered for that position. Isa yun sa mga reason ng attrition na there's lack of opportunity for career advancement. Parating may ganun, common yan sa lahat ng attrition report. Pero di naman nila sinasabi o di never nilang na-realize that to themselves, they have to educate themselves and train themselves to be better. Ang nangyayari ngayon, hinihintay nila na si management, sponsoran sila sa AIM o sponsoran sila kung saan training man sila.
Yun kasi ako Kasi ako yung mga trainings ko, most of them are self-investments, okay? So, I notice lang, okay, if I may, because this is an opportunity to discuss this, okay? A lot of people, okay, wait for their companies, for the companies to invest in them, okay? Dapat it should be also the employee, okay, scouting for his own upskilling, diba?
Agree.
Pero sa size, Cristina, ng mga na-handle mong classes, you mentioned that there's a sizable number of participants who voluntarily paid for themselves. I mean, is it, out of 10 participants, ilan doon yung mga self-pay?
Well, in the past, 2 years ago, okay, self-paid, mga 2 lang yun or 1.
Sa 10?
Oo.
So it's about 20%.
Pero ngayon different na kasi because of the pandemic, okay?
Because of pandemic, walang magawa, so they
Wala
want
sila. Oh, and
walang pupunta.
webinars have been made more affordable and accessible. Okay.
Oh,
Pero 2 years ago, out
ganun.
in a class of 10, siguro may 1 or 0 or 2. The most is 2.
If I may share, in India for the past 3 decades, 30 years, for the past 30 years, they are always the number one geography or country that produces a high number of MBA graduates, high number of PhD graduates, and a high number of college graduates. Yung college graduates, hindi ko lang masyadong tinitingnan yun eh. Kasi pag population mo tulad ng India ay napakalaki, most likely marami kang college graduates. Pero doon ako tumitingin sa graduate school eh. O sa percentage ng MBA o kaya master's degree and percentage of their PhD. Nagpapaabot yung numero. So anong ibig sabihin nito? They invest on themselves. They don't wait for a company to sponsor their education, to sponsor their capability. They enable themselves without having the company to pay for their enabling program. So ang ganda lang biluin mo yun, halos nagkakatapat na yung PhD at saka yung masters. That's the kind of self-value. I call it self-value. I mean, if you value yourself, you will never let somebody take that opportunity from you by making yourself incompetent, diba? You have to prove to everyone that you continually pursue your desire to be more incompetent than you were last year or maybe like last month. Yes, maraming mga webinars ngayon na maraming umaattend ng webinars. Ito nga lang sa atin. I'm sure there's quite a number of listeners. Pero have they taken an online learning that will give them the technical skills? Halimbawa, Microsoft Office. Diba? Now it's Microsoft 365. It used to be Office 365. If I'm going to ask an applicant right now, an IT graduate, I would like to know the difference. And that IT applicant should know the difference as well and be able to elaborate it to me. Diba? To know knowing the difference. Kasi yun ang problema eh. We keep on attending webinars and then we attend because it's free. Yun ang masama doon, because it's free. Pero pag sinabi mong may bayad yan, tatawad, pwede ba ganito? Kasi ba't mahal? Hindi naman ako kakain eh. May baon ako sa bahay. I mean, come on, you're investing on your capability. You want to be resilient? You want to be like a punong kamatsili yata yun. Kamatsili is one of the plants that is resilient from typhoon, just like bamboo. You want to be like these plants, resilient, regardless of the storms that may happen. Then you have to invest on yourself. Ngayon, it's a good timing to invest. Pero pwede naman sana kung yung training naman na has something to do with technical expertise.
Agree.
Oh, biruin mo yung may na
it's the future eh.
Tsaka Mikel, pag tinignan mo yung mga CVs ngayon ng mga aplikante, nilalagay pa doon ng iba yung expert in computer literate. These days, we don't look for computer literate. Everybody's computer literate. It's given, right? But it's still there. Yung pag tinanong mo ngayon yung computer literate, can you make a PowerPoint presentation with video, with sounds? Hindi. Sasabihin kaya, pag binigyan mo ng sample, hindi kaya. So, ito dapat yung tingnan.
When we were actually when we were recruiting for our payment processing people, actually yun yung test namin, yung Excel skills. Okay. And then we purchased pa nga a test, okay. So even my IT, okay, sabi niya, kasi siya yung siya yung nag-review ng mga test, sabi niya, "Ma'am, ako nga diyan 5, 50% lang yung score ko."
Well, ako, Cristina, I don't expect IT to pass that. Pero accountant, mga accounting graduates, I expect them to ace it.
Mababa pa rin ang Excel. Actually mas mababa kasi meron kaming kasi syempre dapat when we purchase the test, so lahat nung mga yung aming present tinest namin doon. So tapos tiningnan namin yung mga mean scores. Tapos yun yung ginawa naming standard for
Benchmark.
the yung benchmark. So mababa pa rin talaga eh. Kasi accounting graduate sila. I was expecting that they would know Excel. Kahit dapat na doon na sa level ng shortcut, pivot, yung mga ganun. Wala pa rin.
Wala pa rin.
Oo. Kasi there's so much, ako kasi, I'm more of a doer kasi, and I don't really, parang there's a thing about theory and practice. If you learn something, you practice on your own. Yun lang yung thinking ko. Even when I was in school, I was such a nerd. Okay. Okay. But anyway, si Ken is here. Ken, do we have greetings from our viewers?
Syempre marami. Basahin natin. Basahin natin isa-isa yan. Syempre to acknowledge our friends watching, di ba? Pinakalita si Albert Prestosa. Good evening, sabi niya. Si Angelic Duhelo. Hi Sir Oliver, sa LinkedIn lang kita na pa-follow. Yan. Si Arvin Delmo says, "Hi Sir Michael." Si Marie Miller, sabi, "Hi Sir Michael." Teka lang, meron pa tayo eh. Si Jester actually. Jester is watching sa sa ating watch party.
So, hi Jester.
Yeah. Sabi ni Jester yun kanina,
Hindi natutulog yan si Jester.
Oh.
So, dude, sabi ni Jester, generation of millennials was also now called as the job hopping generation, merely because of the thirst of being challenged, always wanting more. Yun yun sabi ni Jester. Yeah. Tapos sabi ni Benjamin, sabi ni Benj, one of today's fascinating topics, career resiliency and lifelong learning. Ayun. Tapos yeah, yun yung mga comments natin, yeah.
So, people kasi people want a shortcut, okay? So, parang they want to, when they enter the workforce, gusto na nilang ma-promote, okay? And the trend now is to get a mentor, okay? So, does this work for everyone, and how do you choose a mentor?
Perhaps Mikel can go first.
Alright, sige. Ako, umpisahan ko. Mentor, well, number one, we need to define what a mentor is siguro. Loosely defined ang term na mentor eh. So, for me kasi a mentor would be someone who has maybe pretty much walked in your shoes. Yung someone who can give you the benefit of their experience, someone who can teach you yung mga unwritten rules natin, mga norms in a particular function or industry. Mas maganda if they work in the same industry as you do, and mas okay if they have contacts then, they have that connections that they can introduce to you. So that's what a mentor is. So ideally, finding a mentor, kaya nga ng sinabi ko, find someone in the same organization as much as possible para he or she would know kung ano yung function mo, kung ano yung role mo, ano yung challenges mo. Maybe, especially if he or she is someone who had the same job, maybe ano na siya ngayon, HR director, and she was once an HR staff, example, or baka nasa sales staff siya and you're now part of sales and you wanted to move to HR, so you wanted a mentor. So we wanted someone who can teach us how to get things done. That's number one. Siguro find someone you admire. Of course, mahirap maghanap ng mentor na wala kang tiwala sa kanya.
Yung inis na inis ka.
Oo, inis na inis ka, gigil na gigil ka, pero naniniwala ka sa keep your friends close, your enemies closer. Ginawa mong mentor.
What?
Walang mangyayari. Walang mangyayari sa inyo. So maybe look for someone that you admire, yung may credibility, in your organization, maybe in the community where you're in, and select someone who has a sense of yun nga, your role. Alam niya kung ano yung current na role mo, kung ano yung expectations of your role, para he or she can provide you with practical examples, experiences, at saka makapabigay ng mga analogy. Yan, effective yan sa atin ngayon mga magagandang analogy. So, just remember siguro for everyone who's looking for a mentor na our mentors can tell you what to do pag hindi mo alam. Yun ang ginagawa ng mentor. Sabihin nila, ito yung dapat mong gawin, ito ganyan, ito yung nag-work sa akin. Pero hindi, your mentor is not you. Hindi sila ikaw.
At
So,
hindi sila yung
they
gagawa
will
ng
urge
trabaho.
you. They will urge you then to follow a path. Maybe because that's what worked for them. Pero at the end of the day, ikaw pa din talaga dapat. Sarili mo pa rin decision. Let them guide you, but not really to a point na baka kasi dahil mentor mo, isabi niya kasi ito yung gawin ko, ito yung gawin ko. So kahit hindi bukal sa akin, yun na lang gagawin ko kasi I idolize him or her. Pero yun nga, at the end of the day, ikaw yan. So follow and ask for recommendations. Pero at the end of the day, ikaw pa din ang masusunod kung ano ang gusto mong gawin in your life or in your career.
Well, if I may add to Mikel, to what he said, you can actually pick a mentor na kinaiinisan mo. Wag lang yung ex mo. Sigurado you won't be successful. Babalikan ka ng ex mo. Siguraduhin kang hindi ka maging successful.
Mahirap yun
Anyhow, my take on that is similar to what Mikel said, no? And to add more to what he said. First and foremost, I'll put that into three. Okay, the credibility, relationship, and of course the mutual interest. Okay, I'll start off with credibility. Credibility is important. What kind of mentor are you looking for? Ngayon, if that mentor's life, the personal life, although successful siya professionally, but the personal life does not align with your value, then wag. Kasi kahit gaano ka successful sa isang parte ng buhay niya, professional, young CEO, awarded as blah blah blah, but yet the personal life is not aligned to your values. So what's going to happen one way or another, kasi you'll be spending time, diba? So one way or another, that part of his life will also influence you, and then you will start questioning yourself. That because people around you, other than your mentor, outside of your mentorship with him, the people around you, especially your close friends, will see the impact on your life. Okay, so it has to be somebody not only credible professionally, but has also a good disposition on his personal life. Dapat ganun eh. O kasi minsan ako tulad ko as a professional person, yung personal life ko may not be a good one. Maybe it's ideal to somebody who's aligned with my life, but maybe not to all. So yun ang dapat mong tingnan, how it's going to affect you. Kasi itong mentorship na to, kikita kayo, mag-uusap kayo, di ba? Yung mentorship program. Now, remember, you are not going to waste time. Just like him, your mentor, is not going to waste time also in mentoring you. Okay, now second, relationships. Pasok tayo sa relationship na because the relationship is like friendship. That the only difference is that this person is more open-minded, more direct, rather than your friends. Kasi friends mo, pag tinanong mo, maganda ba ako? Maganda na ba ako sa ganito? Sagot nun lahat, oo. Di ba? Pag sabi, pogi na ba ako sa suot ko? Sagot niya lahat yan, pogi ka. But a mentor is different. So the relationship is there. And of course, there will come a time na para bang sa kagandahan ng loob mo o ng pakiramdam mo, you will invite him to your family's affairs, birthday ng parents mo, ng wife mo, and then so on. So relationship is there. Now, third, mutual interest. Ngayon sinasabi nila, mentorship should come for free. Hindi. Mentorship should be paid and you have to pay for it. In fact, the more expensive you pay a mentor, the better the outcome. Oh, the better the outcome. Ganito yan. Let me use the analogy of medicine. Di ba? Let me use the analogy of medicine. Pag yung gamot na yon galing sa isang kumpanya like Pfizer and Glaxo, napakamahal, di ba? Pero bibilhin mo. Why? Because para sa iyo, pag ininom mo siya, mas gagaling ka comparing to a generic brand. Di ba? Na mas mura. Bibili ka lang nun pag wala ka ng perang pangbayad ng mamahaling gamot. But actually, they're all the same. Efficacy is the same, but the value is higher because you paid premium. And do the same with your mentor. Huwag yung babarating yung mentor nyo. Wag. It should be mutually beneficial to both of you. Remember, his time will be spent on you being mentored, and you as well as a mentee. You're going to spend your time with him as a mentee. Then therefore, premium should come. Kasi mutual agreement yan eh. Mutual interest yan. At pag na-late yung mentor mo, pwede mo siyang sitahin. Di ba? Pwede mo siyang sitahin, sir, late kay. O, di ba? So, dapat may discount to, 50%.
Yeah, so cute.
So, it should be mutually beneficial. Di ba?
Actually, I've been observing din. Kasi I'll just make an observation. Kasi there's like a preoccupation on giving free webinars or free advice, okay? Actually, we just do it because we think it's public service, okay? Because this is a time that we want to help, and this is the most natural way that we can help, okay? So because of what's happening in the situation here in the country, okay, that's the only form, most natural, okay, that we can help. However, people have become so dependent on it that they have been asking. Actually, I've gotten a lot of PMs only to find out the company is not even compliant, but asking for workarounds. Okay. So, and I've made a statement on that of course, we don't really tolerate it. That's why sabi ko, dapat you have to address yung compliance problem. It's the same with the mentorship relationship. Okay. If the person is asking for a magic wand or a magic formula to be successful from the mentor, actually these things have to be worked hard for. Okay, you have to work hard at this. Okay, so kaya
Correct.
I have, but si Ken is a coach, okay, and he's been dealing with a lot of people now. Okay, so Ken, what's the difference between being a coach and a mentor?
Actually, those are two different roles that I play from time to time. So when I do coaching and parang I'm mixing also hypnotherapy in the fray. So when people ask me to do coaching for them, just do ask questions specifically to guide them where they need to go. Because yun nga, it's different with me giving an advice. They could ask that from their friends. For me as a professional therapist, I could help them with the tools that I know to guide them using their own resources. Kasi for example, they're having their own problems. Who made them? Sila din. 'Di ba? Pero it has been an experience that when we give advice, parang ito dapat mong gawin. Pero hindi pa ready yung unconscious mind nila to actually do that advice. Wala din. Right? And I get to see syempre tayo friends and tayo with other friends, 'di ba? We give advice. Um yung gusto mong tumulong, so sabi, ito dapat mong gawin. What happens? Do they follow the advice? Kasi ang nangyayari dito is parang the worst advice is the unsolicited advice. Yun yung sabi ng isang mentor ko. I mean, 'di ba? Hindi naman siya humingi ng anong point sa iyo. Tapos biglang ikaw syempre with your expertise in everything, 'di ba? Parang you see the big picture na hindi niya nakikita. So you want to help. Tapos sabi mo, ito yung dapat mo kasing gawin. Sabi niya na, oo. Tapos wala din. wala din nangyari. 'Di ba? Pero ito yung point doon. You're asking me about the difference din ng mentorship. With mentorship, there's commitment. There's alignment. Okay? So, for example, ako, when I take new mentees, lalo na kunwari persuasion or sa ibang mga parts ng buhay, may commitment Bago, okay, sure ka ba, go ka sa mentorship. I'm different being a mentor and being a coach. So, kailangan pag sinabi kong ganito, ito yun. Ito yun. And meron kaming mga pre-qualifying. I do qualify all the people before they become my mentees so that I can ensure there's alignment. Yun sabi ni Oliver Very important yun. Alignment. Are we aligned? Kasi kung hindi, I'll connect you with someone that you could be more aligned with. Kasi kung hindi tayo aligned sa value sets, 'di ba? There will be disconnects. So I make
And
sure that people that connect with me with that mentorship are qualified,
Mm.
pre-qualified then. Yeah.
uh, so alignment, okay?
Yeah.
So,
Very important.
yon.
Yeah.
Kasi baka mag-away pa kayong dalawa. Oh,
Pwede
yun
yun.
yung
Pwede yun. Pwede yun. Pwede yun.
Oo, 'di ba? Kasi pag hindi kayo match, well, kasi ako through my careers, I've met a lot of wonderful people, okay, who have helped me, okay. I'm actually grateful for their friendship and their experience. Some became my mentors, okay. Yung iba tormentors ko, okay. So, okay lang yun. Okay, I've had my share. But it's okay. So, they've molded me into who I am now. So, walang regrets doon, okay? It's part of it, okay? And well, it's still when we see each other, at least 'di ba, nag-usap kayo na I mean, if ever the mentoring relationship doesn't work out, pwede naman mag-usap kasi I think it's two people can have naman can severe that relationship, pero hindi naman natitigil yung friendship, 'di ba?
Mm.
Iba kasi yon eh. Yung iba kasi pag na ma-model up, akala nila tinatanggal na yung friendship. So, dapat i-compartmentalize nila yun. Anyway, si Benjamin ito, okay. By the way, Benjamin is one of our moderators, okay, and he will be featured also in the HR Skills Clinic in October, okay. So IT, he'll be teaching IT for decision makers. So if I may add, one of the best ways to be resilient and open to growth is to delay one's gratification. Yun nga yun eh. I think what was taught to our generation, kasi ito na yung time para I'm not really espousing Gen X beliefs, okay? But we were kasi taught delayed gratification. Oo. Okay, so yun. Si Ken naman matanda na rin eh, kaya medyo Gen X na. Okay.
Sinyal. Oh,
Senior.
sinyal daw. Oh, sinyal.
Sinyal.
Oh.
So, but I think it's not about the age. It's actually having the discipline and being able to navigate through certain things. Okay, one of it is delayed gratification. Okay, so kasi yung iba when they go into a project, they want the rewards kaagad.
Immediately, yes. And then the reward should be bigger than expected.
Oh, but
Pagka-expected lang yan na reward, it will just fall off the track. Pero
Well.
it should be more than that. Diba? Pag sinabing reward natin dito is a cellphone, are you looking at hindi bababa ng 20,000 na cellphone? So, there's
well,
always
alam mo actually ako dati nahihiya pa ako humingi ng cellphone. Kasi actually, kaya ayokong magkaroon ng cellphone kasi ayokong matawagan. I mean, nandun na ako sa office ng 8 hours tapos sa weekend tatawagan pa ako. That's my reason.
If I may add, Chris, one of the experiences I have had in the past, I received an employment contract, and the salary salary and everything else were stipulated, except pagdating sa baba benefits, nakalagay doon cellphone. And this happened like years ago kasi, di ba? Privilege kasi yung may cellphone ka para bang you're a very important person in the company. You're the decision maker. When they call you, it's because the company is on fire. So they'll call you instead of the bombero. So those were the days.
Pero sa akin kasi everyone calls me. So kasi HR admin ako eh. Actually nagbabayad pa ako ng bill. Kasi kasi ang hirap mag-text. So you end up calling na lang. So oo. Siya. So anyway, it's something na malaking tulong din, okay? But kasi I don't see my work kasi in terms of the money coming in eh. I actually see it in a different way. Oo. It's more about other non-material things that you get from it.
But especially for itong new generation.
The digital natives.
They're after the benefits na nga eh. Medyo konti na lang talaga yung. Siguro meron pa din na talagang salary. Tipid na talaga nila. Yan, work location, pwede bang work from home? Ano yung mga benefits? May phone ba? May pakotse ba? Yan na yung mga hinahanap ngayon eh ng mga applicants natin. makikita mo the number one question sometimes is, which makes sense naman, is HMO. Ilan ang covered ba ang HMO? Ilan ba ang dependents? Yan talaga ang, minsan that's the number one question, hindi man nga compensation ang number one.
Correct. I agree with you. If I may plug this, because we're talking of resiliency, I mean, making you a better person in your career, in your journey. Just to plug this to everybody, you can actually check test.gov.ph. I think they still have the free training as offers. The learning is free. I'm sorry, the learning is free. But if you want to graduate with a certificate, like national certification level, then that's something that you will have to pay on the side. Which is, to me, is already a good deal. Kasi kung ang habol mo is learning, that you want to learn plumbing, that will save you some time, save you some money at home. If you live in a very large neighborhood and you're the only person who knows plumbing, then that will be something for you. At least learning is there, no? If you want to be certified, then of course you have to pay for it. So plugging lang para may mga gusto talagang desidido talaga na to improve themselves. Well, this is something. I'm an executive, but looking at my situation right now, I have no problem learning plumbing or to learn mechanical. I mean, maganda 'yon, 'di ba? Isa kang executive sa kumpanya tapos nilinis ka ng lababo o kaya yung sa banyo.
Alam mo, yung admin ako, naglilinis nga ako ng inidoro kasi I had to train the janitor. Kasi there are janitors para nandidiri humawak ng inidoro. Siyempre may gloves naman, di ba? I mean, I'll be crass about it, okay? I don't know, okay? Pero ako kasi, I'm after work being done efficiently and the right way. But okay, for our guests, okay, so we can talk about resiliency over and over, but here's another $1 million question. If you're going to look for a job right now at this time, okay, what should you look for in a company?
Ako, a company where I can bring my kids. Or a company where I can bring my kids. Not that I can leave them in the office, but on a given time, any given day, I can bring them with me, and then just to show off to my kids what I'm doing on a regular basis. So at least this is something that will inspire them, I'm sure. Seeing their dad work hard for them, and it's a one way also of teaching them to value money. That money is something that you have to work hard for before you could get it, and that everything that we buy in the grocery is something that their dad worked hard for. So this is something that I would like to find in an organization where I will be allowed to bring my kids. Now, second, I think with the boss, I'd like to work with a boss who's open to invite me to his house. O hindi okay naman yung kakain kami sa labas. So he'll bring me to Spiral, he'll bring me to Sofitel, but o kaya sa Melos Steak, okay naman yun. Pero may like what I said, again, there's prominence in the old. It's an old practice, but there's really prominence in it, and to me, it's even more intimate if I will be invited to their humble abode. Tapos mag-barbecue na lang tayo doon. Then continue, we'll talk. Kasi that's how you establish relationship. I'd like to work with a boss like that. Well, I've been working with bosses like that kind of boss in the past. But continuing my journey in life, this is the kind of boss I would like to work with. Then third probably is a company that will allow me to expand my horizon. HR will always be there. I mean, it's like a templated material. Regardless of the company, regardless of the industry, HR will always be HR. The uniqueness of the organization will be different, but if you look at the fundamentals, it's all the same. Doon lang kayo magbabago sa company culture and the uniqueness of the organization. So I think something that will give me the chance to see what's like to work in a supply chain operation or in the manufacturing operation itself. So maganda 'yon, di ba? O kaya totoo ba talagang may position na taste tester? Diba? Sarap 'yon, di ba? Trabaho ko sa isang manufacturing company sa ice cream, banatan mo lahat.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, companies who are looking for a food taster, Oliver is here. Okay. Okay, how about Michael?
Ako, well, number one, siguro iba na yung generation ngayon eh. Pero and iba na rin yung situation ngayon. Pero in a perfect world, maybe it non-COVID world and situation, siguro I'd say before joining an organization, yun nga, research muna. If you can get someone, if you can find someone who's already an employee, maybe through your connections and all, ask them about the culture in the organization. And but most, madalas they'll tell you honest feedback talaga. Unless they're the CEO of the organization. So if that's not possible, then you can check online. You can check their reviews on JobStreet, on job portals, um, maybe on their Facebook page, para you know what you're getting yourself into. Hindi yung dahil lang nagka-job offer ka or you're considering this, sige lang ng sige without even doing your homework. Tapos at the end of the day, perwisyo lang para sa lahat. Kasi ikaw, na-stress ka, you've wasted some maybe months, years of your life, and pinahirapan mo rin yung recruiter and yung manager mo kasi papalatan ka na naman. So, number one is do your homework, learn about the culture of the organization. Yun yung number one talaga and the rest will follow. Siguro number two, pets ako eh. Si Oliver Kids, ako pets eh. Cats, dogs, yan. Pag ganyan, alam mo na talagang na non-traditional talaga. Even kids eh. Alam mo talaga na the company is non-traditional and they're open to, it's a family community, family yung treatment nila sa kanilang mga employees. So kapag ganon, then maganda. Alam mo na they value the things that are important to their employees. If the company is involved in tree planting, mga CSRs, for some, tingin nila it's just a compliance thing, pampabango ng pangalan. But for the employee, it's actually a good experience and it's effective. Kasi alam mo na, especially if naniniwala ka, meron ka mga causes na sinusuportahan, then alam mo na, okay, this is the right company and this is where I want to be kasi naniniwala siya sa mga pinaniniwalaan ko din. Yun. And siguro lastly, hindi na talaga compensation ngayon eh. Basta nabubuhay ka naman, okay lang.
Nabubuhay.
Siguro if the company also invests in your development, and by investing, hindi ibig sabihin na pinapadala ka sa AIM. Hindi ganon. Like, maybe they have a program for cross-training, for secondment, nalilipat ka ng mga departments, you can try things out para alam mo kung saan ka talaga perfect fit, you get to join mga initiatives ng company even if it's in a different department, para ikaw din sa sarili mo, nag-evolve ka, you grow, you develop, and over time, maybe, ang mindset ko kasi dapat 10 years lang eh. Yun. Pero mahirap kasi sundin yun eh. Ang mindset ko, you stay 10 years doing something and then after 10 years, mag-upisa ka ulit ng bago. Ganun eh. Parang 10 years ka munang maybe HR and then 10 years ka sa sales and then 10 years ka sa plumbing siguro and then 10 years ka sa kung ano. Kasi you only get one life eh. Para at the end of your life, alam mo na, okay, nagawa ko lahat yan. No regrets, napagdaanan ko lahat. Kaysa nag-umpisa ka into this and maybe you move to HR, napamahal ka sa HR, and trust me, mapapamahal talaga kayo sa HR. No? Medyo naging comfort zone mo na, so natatakot na tayong lumabas ulit and start something new. Pero yun, don't be afraid to try something new. And if a company has that option na offer sa'yo, or you know that the company has that program, then take advantage of it. Sayang din naman. Wala namang bad learning eh. Lahat yan. Every day, I'm sure, Oliver, Chris, Ken, every day, kahit naglakad ka lang papunta sa palengke, meron kang bagong natututunan. Maybe may bagong nagbukas na ganito. Laging, it's a continuous process, hindi siya nag-end. So, grab all the opportunities to develop yourself. Huwag tayong umasa lang din. No? Tayo din mismo, let's develop through our own means and resources. Ayun ang
Okay.
mahaba kong sagot.
Well,
Pero
thank you, Oliver. Okay, Oliver and yes.
Meron lang akong i-add, coming off from what Mikel said. I hope you won't mind. Just to add a little more time on the discussion.
Sure.
Ito yung pinaka-importante sa lahat. Lahat naman importante, pero this is something important that you should also remember. Never ever quit an organization because of your boss. No, never. If you have a boss who's hard on you, do not quit. If you have a boss whom you think is for lack of better term, and pardon my French, who's an a-hole, do not quit. If your boss maltreats you, he could even physically maltreat you or physically attack you, do not quit. Isumbong mo na lang sa police, isumbong mo na lang sa guard, magsumbong ka lang
Sa HR.
O sa HR. Pag walang ginawa sa HR, isumbong mo sa boss ni HR, but don't quit because of your boss. A lot of people on LinkedIn has been telling and promoting that wrong thinking. I call it wrong thinking. It's a false belief. Do not believe any of the mentor or mga influencers on LinkedIn, on FB, saying that when your boss is bad, you have to quit. No, do not quit. You should quit the organization, however, for 2 reasons. One, rotten culture. Hindi natin alam baka siguro maraming you belong in an organization that's not aligned to your values anymore. Then you quit. Second, opportunity. When opportunity is present, then go ahead and then quit. But never quit because of your boss. That is a wrong advocacy, wrong campaign to begin with, because your boss, no matter how bad he is or no matter she is, that boss will make you a better person in the future. Matibay ka, resilient, di ba?
Resilient, okay. So, dapat dumaan ka sa fire and sa hinagpis.
Ang dami kong boss na up to now. Pasalamat ako, naging boss ko sila.
Okay. So, actually, okay, Oliver and Michael, we have to really wrap it up kasi alam mo kami ni Ken, we kind of help our fellow trainers, okay? So, somebody will be kind of borrowing our Zoom. So anyway, that's how we help each other here. So anyway, Ken, okay, anything new from you?
Ito, attend kami ng graphology na workshop. Looking forward to new skills, of course. Everything, learning never stops. Yun lang. Look for the right people, and as you get the right people in your circles, you grow more, faster. Yun lang.
Anyway, Michael, anything for you and what's like new for you in the coming days?
All right. Well, first off, thank you very much, Chris, Oliver, Ken. Thank you for the HR Shouts and Whispers community for having me here. Isa talaga tong group na to sa talagang dedicated na tumulong sa HR community regardless of their tenure. Sometimes pati non-HR dito na yung ito na nagiging HR department ng lahat So, thank you very much. As for me, so yeah, if you have any HR related inquiries, siguro plug na din ako. If you or you know anyone who would want to, kasi we're also helping. So kung meron kayong kilala na gustong mag-intern, as long as they're business grad, psych, or HR, they wanted to complete their internship, we offer a virtual internship for them. So kahit nasan sila sa buong Pilipinas, there is no charge at all, and iba. It's really a literal na on-the-job experience talaga. And this is our tulong namin sa lahat ng mga students. So if you're free, wanted to make use of the time to comply with your requirements, and you're in these discipline, then feel free to reach out to us through our Facebook page. I'll also plug, konti na lang, CPHR for those who wanted to become, learn more and certify themselves as global globally certified professionals like Chris here and myself, and next week Oliver, join the next CPHR assembly. The October batch is already full. The November is halfway full na. So konti na lang. We may not be having December. Pahinga muna kasi busy lahat ng HR kahit na wala Christmas party. I'm sure kailangan nilang maging tech
Planning.
support. Oo, maging technical support yan eh. Maging virtual assistant lahat yan. So baka wala. If you have the time, take advantage of it for L&D professionals, facilitators, trainers, nag-umpisa sa L&D, choose CLDP. And lastly, the biggest online assembly of certified certified HR practitioners, the Philippine HR Assembly. Second one will be on November 26th. That's a Thanksgiving in the US, and that will be a Thursday sa atin. More details will be coming out soon. We are still finalizing all the details, pero we wanted to help, and our goal is still to offer it free of charge na jam-pack talaga para sa lahat ng mga co-HRs natin. So that's it for me. Thanks again for having me, and I hope to join future podcasts of HR Shouts and Whispers.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Chris.
you, Michael. Okay, how about Oliver?
Well, just to plug something, I have 2 more slots for mentees. I have 3 now, as I still have 2 more. So you can follow me on LinkedIn. You can send me a message there, then we can keep in touch. What else? Wala naman masyadong nangyayari sa buhay ko maliban sa
But you're
Soon.
accepting mentees. Okay.
Soon.
yes,
soon.
I have 2 slots for mentee. 2 slots open. I mean, well, I'm teaching now at Far Eastern University, so I think you can find me there every now and then in the list of the professors that they have. So for the meantime, I think that's it. But just to close this, palimutan nyo na ang lahat except yung sa sinabi ko pinaka-last. Don't quit because of your...
Yeah, though actually kasi if you quit because of someone else, then yung tao na yon ang mananalo, hindi kayo. That's plainly put. Okay.
Tsaka magiging
Actually,
boss nyo ulit yan.
Oh,
Malit ang mundo, magiging boss nyo ulit yan.
oh, maliit lang ang
mataas
mundo.
pa, no? Tapos
Oo.
mas boss pa, no? Nandito. Dati dito lang.
Oo.
Eh.
Oo,
Tsaka-
imbes na ma-hire ka, hindi ka na-hire.
Teka, actually, I think Oliver and Michael and Ken, okay, I think they will agree with me, okay. The reason we're kind of like resilient, okay, were because of people that actually gave us hell, okay.
Correct,
I mean,
correct.
that's life, okay. I mean, that's the only thing I can expound on, okay. It's like that's life, okay. Hindi lahat ng nasa buhay natin ay maganda. Not all things are rosy. Siyempre may mga may mga thorns yan, okay. So anyway, so thank you to our guests, and Ken, we are wrapping up, and have a nice weekend, okay? Okay, I
thank
hope
you.
that you're able to learn from our guests. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Chris,
Happy
Mikel. Thank
holidays.
you. Bye, Ken.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Oliver. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Mikel. Bye. Bye, Cristina.